I'm Susan Hooks. I'm from a small town, northeast Alabama, Minton, Alabama, on top of Lookout Mountain. I had breast cancer. I was diagnosed with stage 2. It progressed to stage 4 by the time I got here, metastasized to the bone. And that's what I was dealing with. Once I had the biopsy, I was told that I indeed had cancer, and they really said it's going to require either a single or double mastectomy, radiation, chemo, all the things that a traditional treatment would provide. That is their protocol. And when I looked my oncologist in the eye and said, "What are the other options?" Response was, "There are no other options." And I didn't argue. I just knew that traditional oncology has a protocol they have to follow, from what I understand. And the treatment that I would get here, it's just been no comparison to what would have happened to me in August had I chosen the traditional route, versus now I sit here healthy, whole, without surgery. It's just an incredible gift to be able to attend here. Before I was diagnosed and I was starting my testing and my MRIs and those kinds of things, I knew I did not want to do traditional treatments. I had seen a family member go through it, and it was awful. She had a double mastectomy and a reconstructive surgery and a lot of pain, close to death several times, and I just didn't want to do that. I didn't feel like I could make it, honestly. And so we started searching for integrative places to treat me, and after several days of searching, it just popped up one day, and I started reading about it and listening to the testimonials, and I discussed it with my husband Larry, and he said, "I'll do whatever you want to do." And then we went in to see the oncologist, and she was pretty direct with me in a very, in my opinion, a very negative way. And after that, Larry questioned, "Are you sure this is what you want to do as far as coming to Brio?" And I said, "Well, why don't you and I sit down and discuss it tonight and look at videos." And so we watched 3 or 4 hours worth of Brio videos, talking. A lot of it was scientific, the information we found out there, but it was still enough for us to comprehend how amazing this treatment would be. And after we watched it in total silence, just hour after hour. And Larry looked at me and said, "Okay, I get it, I'm in. If we're candidates, schedule it then." And so that's when I got to speak with Dr. LeBan, and we had a very nice and long interview with her after they received all of my records, and I was able to get in based on your openings and what my needs were, thankfully. Looking at other clinics, the comparison, well, there was no comparison really, because Brio had so many options. Some clinics had a few things to offer, but Brio had many options available in terms of protocol. And after discussing it with Dr. LeBan and asking her for we asked her so many questions, and you know, her words as I remember them were, "You're making a good choice to come here. We can help you. We've helped many." I mean, she just verified everything that we had already researched online about the clinic. But she was very encouraging, and I felt like I could have called her back at any point in time had I wanted to, just to discuss my situation. But once we discussed it with her and we got on the book, so to speak, knew the day we were coming, I just had a high comfort level. You know, it's not, you have to fill out paperwork online, which is not that difficult. It's just answering questions about your medical history. So everything we did prior to arriving, all the tests, everything they had in their hands. So we didn't have to do any of that once I arrived here. Supplemental treatments that include vitamin C, turmeric, other ALA, other things that I'm not even sure what they all stand for, but they explained them to me as they were giving them to me. The other treatments here are things like hypothermia, hyperbaric chamber, the PEMF pad, the acupuncture, the lymphatic massage therapies, and the PEMF pads are really, they're just everywhere I would sit. Part of the treatments themselves are on the pads. So there were a lot of things that you think, how can this help me? And then you just realize that it's all working together to cleanse my body, and it did. By the time, to be frank, at the end of the 7 weeks, prior to that, Dr. Goodyear had asked me, would I consider staying 4? And I did. I felt like it was those last 4 weeks that just cinched it for me. And so by the time I left, I was already at a 90% shrinkage of the tumor, and I was at no evidence of disease on my last PET scan, on my PET scan in January, and on my PET scan in April. So I've had 3 no evidence of disease, no activity, clear PET scans after leaving here. And sometime between my return for peptides in February, the tumor totally disappeared. The rest of it just disappeared. It's just not there. It's a good feeling, and I'll love to talk about it. The standard of care here is excellent, superb, flawless, intentional. The staff here, every level of staff member, from including nurses and people in the office and people that are just hooking you up to all the different protocols that you'll be taking while you're here or while I was here. Everyone is just kind. And if I have a question, that they don't treat you like it's a dumb question. I know they've been asked every question over and over again by every patient, but they treat every patient with such dignity and with such care that I don't feel like a patient. I feel like I'm in a health spa in a way, even though I know we're all here fighting for our lives and have been and will continue to. But I don't feel any negative vibes here at all. And I feel really strong now. This is my 2nd round of peptides that I'm here to enjoy and to take into my body, and I just feel stronger every day. And I can't say enough about how, when I first arrived, I was also a part of the feelings where I used the word terrified, and I was hopeful because I had already passed through the hopeless stage. Once I found Brio, I became very hopeful that this was going to be a positive experience. And it has been absolutely amazing. Sometimes I still am in wonder that I am at this place of wellness. And I do appreciate the fact that Brio embraces faith here. And I feel like that God led us here, and I feel like that that God uses these methods to help heal. So if you're receiving that same kind of diagnosis that I did, and you're being told there are no other options, there are other options. You do not have to take the traditional route. You can choose this option. It is scientific. Everything they do here is based on science. So it's just it's different from the traditional science. It's integrative science. So I encourage patients, and every time I get a chance to speak with someone about it now, I do. I'm going to be honest with you. Initially, I didn't talk about my situation because I did not want people coming at me and saying, you've got to choose traditional. I knew what I wanted, and I knew that I had that choice and could make this choice. My encouragement to you is to consider Brio and to research it. Don't take my word for it, research it. And I think you're going to be absolutely amazed.